So if you were to do that, you could take the water that came from the tap, if they asked us to, and add a few drops of chlorine in, shake it up, let it sit for 10 minutes, then you can consume it. But that water tastes like chlorine, so what do? I suggest that you're going to drink water, but you don't have to drink just water. Have punch base, Kool-Aid, Gatorade, some kind of mix that you can mix with the water to make a fruit punch out of it. If you do have to drink water that's overly chlorinated, some heavy fruit punch type base will really make the water palatable so that you could drink it rather than having to hold your nose and drink chlorinated water. So that helps a great deal. Other sources of water. If you're looking for other sources of water here in Southern California, you're kind of up the creek. We live in a desert. There aren't many rivers or streams or anything that we can go pull water out of, so we need to figure ways that we can get water. One of the greatest ways are swimming pools. Can you drink swimming pool water? No, you cannot drink swimming pool water. It has heavy salts in it. Now, if you're playing in it and your children are playing in it, all of us have played in the pool, you drink a little bit, that's okay. But to drink heavy amounts of pool water would make you sick over time. So you cannot drink pool water, but you can do everything else with it. Wash your clothes, wash your dishes, wash things with it. Because like right now, it's outside, it's raining. So if we were having a problem where there's no water, you could collect the rainwater that came, and and you could collect that rainwater, you could filter it, you could purify it, and you could drink it without any problem. What other sources of water could you have? Well, one of the things that you always read is that you can drink the water that comes out of your hot water heater, or your water heater. Well, hot water does not mean to be heated. Your water heater. Have any of you done what is prescribed on your water heater? It says you're supposed to drain annually. How many of you have ever drained your water heater? Have you actually drained your water heater? And the water that comes out of that, you want to drink that?
No.
Well, why is that?
It looks like milk.
And if it's been there for a long time, it's rusty milk. It does not look palatable whatsoever. Could you drink that? I guess if you really had to, if you had a commercial filter, you could probably filter it out, but I don't know that I would drink it. But could you bathe with it?
Sure.
Certainly. Could you use it for washing dishes? Sure. Probably. Washing clothes, those kind of things. Everything other than drinking, like you said, you can use that. You can use it for that purpose. Another supply of water that you have in your home, that's your toilet tank. Do you really want to be drinking out of the water out of your toilet tank? Well, if you don't have any other water, that might be. There's usually about 2 gallons or so in the tank of your toilet. That's a great source of water if you really need to. Do you want to drink it? Well, you can. It's pure water. It's not been in the bowl, so it's okay to drink. But take your lid off your tank sometime and look in there and go, I don't think I'm drinking that. If you have corn, okay? You're eating vegetables, canned vegetables that you have in your food storage. But rather than pouring that water off and pouring it down the sink, that's pure water. Keep that water in a jar somewhere. Store the water up over a couple of days, you'll get half a gallon or so of water. If you have a water filter, you can put it in the water filter and you can drink it. You can drink it right out of the can too. You can do that as well. It's not going to hurt you. It'll taste like corn, but it's not going to hurt you. Well, if you could catch it, let's say right now it's been raining fairly hard. And after it falls off the roof has been relatively clean, and you can catch it before it hit the ground, it's probably pure enough to drink without doing anything to it. But if it's hit the ground, and it's come on the ground, it can get, and does get, Giardia, and there's one other bacteria that you're
catching it out of the spouts or something.
Yeah, if you have a home and you have a rain gutter, yeah. And because, I mean, that's what a lot of people do.
Rain gutter, and it's bringing everything down inside where, okay, so.
Right, so if let's say if I owned a home and I had a house with a rain gutter on it, I would take a 55-gallon drum like this and have it next to where the rain gutter comes down. You know, if we need water, let it rain for a couple, 3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes to wash everything out, and then I would put the water into the barrel. And I would feel pretty confident drinking that water if it hadn't touched the ground first. If it had gone off your relatively clean roof and into the barrel, you could drink it without much problem that way.
But filtering it would be one step more.
Filtering it would be one step more, yeah. You could chlorinate it if you needed to, but it doesn't, you wouldn't need to do that. that you would probably may want to filter it. On my website, I have several ways that you can actually make filters. I have one of my favorite ones that I'm just dying to try is in the Army Field Manual. If you happen to be stuck out in the middle of, you've parachuted into the wilderness, you can use your parachute and make a 3-stage filter and filter it just like the earth does. The first filter is you let the water trickle through grass or some kind of vegetable matter. And then it goes through a layer of sand. And then it goes through a layer of charcoal, and then after that, you get water at the end. Now, water that you get at the end will be relatively pure and safe to drink. So you can use water like that, kind of being resourceful, and so you can make the water that you do have stretch out over time. The most important thing I think about water storage is get some. Get some now. Store some. If you don't have any water stored in your home, even when we talked about, maybe 5 or 10 gallons per person, you need to have some kind of water storage. Because if the power goes out, so will the water eventually. The power, all the water that's fed to you is pumped to your house. Those pumps are run on electricity. If we have a major earthquake, we live in earthquake country, we're expecting an earthquake not too far away. Earthquake happens, you won't have water, and probably not for several days. There are lots of reasons why, and even like I said, they just tested their water and there's no calamity. Just for some reason, the groundwater was contaminated, and they could send you a letter and say, boom, all of a sudden your water's off. Guess what? You need to start boiling your water. How much nicer would it be, rather than having to boil water to get a drink of water, you just went in your bedroom, grabbed one of these, and go, okay, here we go. We're set. We're ready to go. Are there any questions? You got a question in the back?
Now, if there is a problem with the city water, with there being pollutants and stuff, would that Kansas system take that?
It depends on what kind of purification system it is. There are, basically, under counter system, there are 3 kinds of purification systems. One is a charcoal-based system. It runs through a charcoal, like a pure water system that you attach to your faucet, those kinds, or they run through little canisters. Those are basically charcoal filters. And those charcoal filters will take out things like chlorine. Remember, we want the chlorine because it makes it store. So if you run the water through a charcoal system to put into here, it will actually shorten the life of how long it will store in there because you're actually dechlorinating the water. So there's charcoal-based systems. Then there's ceramic-based systems. They're more expensive that actually push it through a ceramic system. Those also will have some cartridges on them. Those do not dechlorinate, but they will take out larger particulate matter. And so you get a purification that way. The most expensive ones is the reverse osmosis. They actually push it through a very small membrane. It takes out almost everything, and the water is really pure as it comes out. The upside with those is you get really pure water when you're drinking. The downside is as soon as, let's say, the water system goes bad, like my wife was saying, the chemicals that were put in it, I don't believe that those would stop all of those chemicals, and they would foul your filter, and then you would have to replace the cartridges before you would be able to use your system again. It depends greatly on the system that you have and what kind of method it uses to purify the water. If you look on it, it should tell you what kind of system it is, how many microns it goes down to, and if you have anything below like a 2 or a 1 micron, then you're pretty good. So the best thing is you go on the internet, look up the company, and look at and the company that you have it from should be able to tell you all the information you need to know about that. Generally, though, if something happens and the water gets fouled, they generally, not always, will foul those kinds